What's happening, guys? Welcome to a very, very special episode of Patriot Garage. We are out here somewhere in between Alice Springs and Finke. So we're here, we're competing in the Finke Desert Race for 2022. I'm in the 484 truck with my brother, and then the twins are competing in the 688 Razor. A lot of you guys have been asking through the social media. Here it is, our brand new addition to the team, a brand spanking new Mack with a new trailer that the boys back at Race HQ have built specifically to haul these two vehicles around the country for the race season. We're out here giving it a shakedown. I'm gonna say, before we get into this video, it's not done yet. So in the comments, give us some ideas. What would you have done different, or what have you seen done different in the past to make it a little bit easier? And this is all about making life easier for the boys. But what I'm gonna do, how we're gonna roll this, I'm gonna run you through the trailer while it's all open. The 688 car's on the back of the truck testing. We've just got back in the 484 truck. And then later on in this video, I'll run you through everything to do with the brand new Mack truck and all the specs and all the stuff I know you wanna hear. So come with me, let's go inside and let's start in the side. I might actually start before I get into this, where this trailer actually came from. So a really good mate of mine up at Mack Trucks, I was visiting him up there. I saw this thing sitting out the back, and we might actually go to a quick flashback here, because I'm pretty sure that most of Australia, if you're into motor racing, you're gonna know exactly where this trailer started life. So let's have a quick look at that. So yes, this was originally the trailer for the Cars when the Cars film came out, that this trailer was running around with a Mack truck all around the V8 supercar events, and kids all around Australia got to see this if you got to go to a supercar event. Obviously that was a big promotion for them, but this thing was purpose built to be an event trailer. Now, when I got up there, I obviously noticed that all of the sides open up on the trailer. Now, the number one thing, the biggest problem that we've always had with loading race cars, and especially in enclosed trailers, is the trophy truck's so wide and it just fits in, like there's literally 10 mil aside when it goes in the back of the trailer, that you can't actually get in there and strap it down. So these are all hydraulically operated on the side, and we can run them in two different modes. So we can run, you can see the back door on that side's fully open, and we can also run them down as an awning as well, which is really cool. The front used to open on the truck as well, but we've modified that. We've closed them up. We don't need them, and I'll show you the reason for that in a minute. We've added in a door in the side here. So if you come up in, we're inside the workshop, and this is the reason that we closed the two front doors. We actually didn't need the front doors to open. So the workshop at the front, we're still kind of playing around with what we're gonna do with the layout for long term. We did add in this mezzanine up the top, and what we were gonna use that mezz for, we were gonna use that as a loft. So throw a couple of swags up there, and then we got somewhere to stay whilst we're traveling. Now, what we found when we packed it for the very first time is the amount of spare parts that we actually did have between the two race cars. So I think that will stay as all the spares. This is all of the spares that, in case of a major catastrophe, something goes wrong, or in case of an accident, everything that we're not using on the day-to-day all sits up the top there in that loft. But we've also made up a heap of racking in the front here as well. We put in some toolboxes. So you can see we've just got some tape on there with Nico at the moment while we're trying to sort everything out before we label it. But if you're seeing here, O-rings, for example, pick another drawer. This is all the brake spares for the 484 truck. 484 bearings and seals, so all the spare bearings and seals are in there. Power tools we keep in the bottom. And then on this side, we've got a drawer at the bottom for all the driver spares, so all of our helmet stuff, all of our safety stuff. spare undergarments all sit in there, and then we've got a lot of drawers in there for the 688 car too. Now, again, we're still trying to find our way with a home for everything, where everything lives. We've got things on board like a defibrillator. I know they could get us out of trouble if we really needed them. All the UHF gear, so all of our GME gear kind of sits up in here. Pegs and ropes for outside cleaning, and so on and so forth. And as you go through the racks, you'll kind of see everything starting to get all labelled up. These are really good containers. This stuff is pretty cool. So even for here, you know, you can see injectors and fuel. So we've got a spare set of injectors in there, and then any other fuel bits that we might need as spare parts. Tools, pretty straightforward. We've got everything on board. The reality of it is we really want to be working out of the truck in the race shed. So as the boys are working out of the truck in the race shed, all the tools come out, everything goes back in. Same with all of the spare parts. So we know when we're packing for a race that we have absolutely everything on board that we need. This is actually our fuel cart. So this runs off a battery, so it's got a 12-volt pump there, got a gauge on it as well. You can see, and you'll see everywhere, we've got fire extinguishers mounted absolutely everywhere that we could possibly think of, yeah? Now come up here, one of the really cool things that we've done in this thing, you see this big unit up the top here? So what that's housing up in there, that's got a Red Arc Manager 30, a Red Arc Red Vision TVMS, a 3000 watt inverter built in, and then all the breakers are built in there as well. And now over my head, you'll see we got two 200 amp hour lithium batteries. So they're the Red Arc, the biggest lithium batteries that Red Arc make. So we've got 400 amp hours of lithium on board. Then we've got three 200 watt solar panels up on the roof. So we have 600 watts of solar pumping into this thing, into lithium. And then obviously we still got a DC charge off the Mack truck as well. So a 12 volt charge. Then we have the ability when we're back in the workshop, say if we've got it parked undercover, no sun, all the rest of it, we can plug the thing into 240 volt. And it's all controlled from this thing here. You can see here with the TVMS, obviously this is all of our lighting. One of the really cool things that we've done is we've actually hooked up both of the winches to this. So there's a winch that opens the side staircase, and there's a winch that opens the rear door. Then there's another 12,000 pound winch on top, which we use to actually pull the race cars in. So they've all been wired into here, straight into the TVMS, and we have a second controller that's mounted in a toolbox down the back as a slave controller, so we can operate everything without even having to get inside of the truck. So this has just been an unreal system for us. 3,000 watts of inverter power for everything that we need is just absolutely ample. You can see all the 240 volt batteries are getting set up. So it'll be a work in progress, you know, kind of as we go over the next whatever amount of races, and we'll keep making changes and keep on improving on how we're going to put this thing together. So you can see inside here, the biggest advantage of the trailer, like I said right at the start, was the hydraulic opening doors, and they are just absolutely a godsend. I've done it before. Loading anything into a Pantech trailer that's extremely wide and trying to strap it down is just a nightmare. And then when you've got to get something back out or unstrap it, climbing over the top of cars and all the rest of it, it just doesn't work. So you can kind of see the two differences here. Behind me, you've got the wall that is behind me is folded right up onto the roof, and we've got the ability to do that with both walls. So as they come up, one comes up onto the roof and the other one can come up on top, so you can have it open on both sides. Or we can hang them out the side. So what we actually did was, you can see these braces running here. We were just a little bit concerned. These doors weigh a lot, and we've got, you know, Sarah and Mia and the kids and a lot of people around here. So we just added in these braces so we can leave them out. Another big part of the build is what you guys are about to see here, is this extension. So how the trailer used to operate was it had typical back doors, barn doors, like any sort of Pantech trailer. So what the boys have done is made up a frame, and they've extended this frame 1200 millimeters, and that's for a couple of reasons. Obviously, reason number one was to get us up to the maximum length that we can tow behind that truck and have the ability to fit both race cars inside. So before we could only fit the trophy truck, but now we can get both inside. The second thing that it's done with that beaver tail is obviously given us the loading access that we need. So all in all, I'm ecstatic with how this has turned out. It was one of those projects that, you know, I've wanted something like this for a very long time. It just makes life on the road for the entire race team just so much easier, having everything together. not having to tow 3 cars around. If you've been following us on Patriot games, you see our last race season, we'd have to have 2 vehicles, 2 toy haulers with the race cars on it, and then we had that big Pantech truck which carried all the spares and all the tools. Now, realistically, with the sleeper cab in the Anthem, which I'm going to show you through in a minute, we can have 1 driver and they can drive this thing really anywhere that it needs to go, and the race team come in and set up and get everything done. Before we do go up to the Mack though, if you come around this side here, another big advantage of the beaver tail, and you can see the actual width of the extension is here, so that's where the back doors used to be. We've got this massive tunnel boot at the moment, that's where our marquees sit, but this is where we put the other, the slave of the Red Vision, the Red Arc Red Vision there, so we can operate all the winches, all the external lights, which you can see are on up there at the moment, and again, just makes life extremely happy for everybody. Happy race team, happy Justin, yeah? It's kind of how it works. Sometimes, not all the time. Okay, Mack Truck. You want to see it, or should we save it to another episode? All right, come on, let's go. I'll walk you around the Mack. All right, so this is the brand new Mack Anthem. So this is one of the newest models for Mack trucks. Now, I'll give you a quick little spec. This thing can be spec'd up for a GCM of 110 tons. So that's what you can pull with this thing. I'll go into engine specs and stuff in a little bit, but mainly from here, I'll talk about really what we've done to get it looking the way that it is, and we haven't done a whole lot. So this one here is the new 36-inch sleeper, and it's got a full walkthrough inside. But basically, if you were to buy a brand new Mack Anthem, this is how it would come out of the factory. Now, the options that are available are obviously crazy. The only thing that we've done to change the look of this truck is the matte black wrap. That is it. So the wheels, the polished wheels it comes with, the polished tanks it came with, obviously all the chrome in the grille and all the rest of it. I'm loving the whole look of it. It still hasn't worn off that, you know, we've got a Mack truck in the race team, and I don't know if that will really wear off. You know, I don't think there's been any child, male child at any age that hasn't at some stage wanted to own a truck. And now, Patriot Racing, we have a truck, which is, it's just so cool. So I'm really happy with it, happy with the matte black. We went really simple with the decals. We went quite simple on the decals on the trailer as well, but you can see the stance of it, the look of it, the big gold bulldog. Mack, love it, through and through, and manufactured an hour from Patriot HQ. So in Brisbane, Australian made, employs all of the Australians, no different to Patriot campers, and that is something that I love to support. So let's jump in it. I'll show you through the cab, and then we're gonna take this thing for a drive together. I'm gonna take you guys for a drive in a 535 horsepower Mack Anthem. Let's do that. All right, trucking. So we haven't got the air on at the moment, so I'm sitting quite low. I drove this thing all the way out here, 3,000 kilometers. Actually, one of the other race boys did about 800 Ks or something in it. And it is just, it's unbelievably easy to drive. It's unbelievable. And I'll talk more about that when we get onto the road. It is so comfortable. It's not fatiguing compared to some of the other trucks that I've driven. You know, you get out at the end of the day of, you know, 8 or 10 hours behind the wheel of a truck and you're flogged, you know, you're fighting the thing the whole time. It's got so much safety stuff, but again, I'll get through that in a second. What I did want to show you, which I can't show you later on, GMA too. Every Mack comes with the GMA, it's so cool. What I did want to show you, check this out. How's that? 36-inch sleeper at the back. The head height, it is like a mini little house. So you've got a bed there in the back. Have a look in here, we've got a fridge. So we've got a fridge right in the center there. So all the drinks and whatever, coffees and whatever are in there. Now we've got an air conditioner and a heater. We've got 240 volt outlets for charging whatever. So if you hang an iPad or whatever, you can put a 12 volt TV in the back. The sleeper is massive. So the sleeper is huge. I don't think you want, I don't want to put my dirty feet on Ashton's bed. And Ashton's been sleeping in this the whole time that we've been out at Alice Springs. This is his bed back here. But you know, chilling out here during the day, fans and all the rest of it. It is just so comfortable, so roomy. You got curtains that close off as well, so you can block it all out. One person is all that you'd want to put in here. I think 2 people sleeping in here it'd probably get a little bit, I don't know, claustrophobic. I can see the twins are just coming back in now. I can actually see them down there in the distance. So let's get these cars loaded up and then let's get on the road and I'll take you for a drive. All right, so trailer air, parking brakes, check this out. Drive, that's it. And then the thing does itself. Kind of like a Tesla. I think you can kind of just sit back and it'll just go its own way, maybe, I'm not sure.
With this baby driving your truck for you, all you gotta do is sit back and feel your ass grow.
All right, so the one thing with the M Drive is it is actually seriously easy to drive, but this is their newest, latest and greatest gearbox. Now, I'm told, I haven't seen it yet, or I haven't used this feature yet, but you've also got an inbuilt GPS. So in the unit, in the head unit, there's an inbuilt GPS, and it will actually remember hills and those sorts of things. So when the trailer's loaded, the transmission somehow will talk to the GPS and it'll know exactly what gear it needs to be in, but that I haven't used yet. The other thing with the Mack is this thing here. It's a 13-litre engine, right? Makes 525 horsepower, but 1,920 foot-pounds of torque. And I suppose if you're going to be rolling around at your max GCM of 110 tonnes, you're probably going to use absolutely every bit of it. That's a bit of a run through our brand new Mack Anthem transporter for Patriot Racing. Big shout out obviously goes to Mack Trucks Australia for hooking us up. We've had a long-standing relationship with the team up there, and I'm really glad, guys, that we finally got this done and we got it all together, and we're no longer running around in 3 different vehicles. But we'll see where the future goes. I do have on my list, I would really like a proper sleeping area. So maybe we might buy an A trailer somewhere down the track and turn this thing into a B double. But I'll try and keep you updated as this thing kind of morphs into what it's going to be. And I think for our first event with the new Mack, the new race transporter, I think we've done a really good job at the first setup. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Coming up real soon, Finke 2022, there and back. Come in, the twins get it done. We'll see you on the tube.